Who are you?
He is certainly not the mannequin I arranged for you to bury. He is my beloved. Your father. He is Batman.
Talia. Raish resurrected him in the Lazarus pit?
My father wouldn't risk the Lazarus process after Batman's death in Bosnia. I would not stand by and allow him such a trivial demise. As my father feared, the pit drove Bruce to madness, but I chose my beloved for his exceptional strength of mind. Though his capacity for speech is limited, he has spoken with his body and given himself to me.
You sick, twisted...
When Batman donned the colors of his former protege, it was clear he wanted you to join us.
And I know Bruce would never allow what Batman stood for to be corrupted by you. Neither will I.
Jason, it is not me you must convince of that.
It was a long way back from where I'd gone. But my family took me back. To heal. So we could all heal. That's what family does. To that end, Barbara returned to duty as a sort of oracle, streaming live intel and support to Dick while he patrolled Gotham. I'm still working through stuff. Not ready for the field yet. But I am finding the strength Bruce saw inside me all along. The strength to just stop and heal. The strength to be part of a family. Now we're united to heal him. The effects of the Lazarus pit made him a danger to us, to himself, and to his legacy. A legacy we would protect as we searched for a cure, with the hope that we might one day save Bruce Wayne, as he saved me.
Hey, Dad, imagine if Zorro came riding through Gotham on his horse right now!
Well, Bruce, I'm not so sure a masked vigilante would be welcomed in Gotham City. Sadly, they'd probably just lock someone like Zorro in Arkham.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This is going to be my new Batman Red Hood video for the new Under the Red Hood, Batman Death in the Family, and live-action Red Hood that they just announced. So we'll break it all down. There's a bunch of Easter eggs and obviously a bunch of alternate endings to this new movie. Choose your own Red Hood adventure. We'll do an Amazon giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and let me know what you want them to do with Red Hood in live action. So I'll start by explaining all the alternate endings to this new Batman Red Hood movie, then I'll talk about what's going on with the live-action version of Red Hood that they announced for Titan Season 3. So if you don't know what's going on, they just released a new movie called Batman: A Death in the Family, which is a retelling of a lot of the events of Batman Under the Red Hood movie, with at least 5 or 6 different possible endings that you can have. It's sort of an interactive choose-your-own-adventure style movie retelling of the Red Hood storyline. The ending that I put at the beginning of this video, that clip, is probably my favorite one just because of the deep-cut Easter eggs and how weird it gets. But if you take what I would call the original route where Jason Todd dies at the hands of the Joker, you get the original Red Hood storyline playing out the way it did in that classic movie. Then what I'll call the Hush route is where he survives the blast but goes crazy and eventually turns into a version of Hush. So he survives the Joker's blast, Batman kind of saves him after the fact, but he's horribly scarred and his mind becomes really broken, and he swears revenge on Batman, blaming him for his current state. Then it branches out into an alternate League of Assassins ending. There's almost 3 different League of Assassins endings that I'll explain. Talia tries to recruit him in several of the different storylines. In the Hush route, he winds up accepting her offer because he learns about the existence of Damian Wayne. Batman is still alive, so just in another twist in trying to get revenge against Batman, he swears to twist Damian against Batman and use him as a weapon against the Bat family in the future, just to twist the knife as much as possible. Then the third main route, which itself leads to multiple separate endings, is where Batman saves Jason from the Joker's explosion, but instead winds up dying himself, and then that leads to a bunch of different endings that are separate from the other endings. During that route, what happens is Batman dies, then Dick Grayson becomes the new Batman, taking the cape and cowl, and Jason Todd either 1, becomes a version of Red Robin, 2 still winds up becoming a version of Red Hood at a different point in the timeline, or 3 becomes an unbranded criminal in prison. The first League of Assassins ending during this storyline is the clip that I put at the beginning of this, where you find out about Zur-En-Augh Batman, and Jason Todd saves him from Talia. Then they take him back to the Bat family and they try to rehabilitate him. Talia explains that back during the original explosion, she didn't want Batman to die because he was too important to her in the League of Assassins mission, so they resurrected him, but he came back crazy, just like Jason Todd came back crazy in the Red Hood storyline. But the version of Zur-En-Augh Batman that they're doing during this is actually based on the modern version of the character. So if you're not familiar with who that is, it's a super deep cut, a super weird version of Batman. That's a version of Batman that underwent hypnosis through a doctor, wound up repeating this mashup of his father's last words, Zorro in Arkham, Zur-En-Augh. Then years later, when that doctor winds up working with Black Mask, they use the Zur-En-Augh trigger to cause Batman to lose all of his memories and take up the Zur-En-Augh identity, forming a makeshift version of the Batman costume on the street that looks like the Silver Age version of the costume, all these weird colors. So he just winds up becoming a brainwashed version of Batman that goes a little nuts on the streets. So during that storyline, Jason has a bit of a more positive ending. Barbara Gordon becomes a version of Oracle because they have elements of the Killing Joke storyline during this. Joker is a character during this Batman Death in the Family movie. Dick Grayson still continues to be the main version of Batman, but they're never really sure if Bruce Wayne is ever going to get better. Then the next alternate League of Assassins ending is the same version as you saw it at the beginning, where Jason Todd shows up and he meets Zur-En-Augh Batman. But in that version of the ending, Batman winds up killing them all with an explosion, so it's a bit of a downer ending that ends way faster. Then in the ending where he doesn't become Hush, he doesn't become Red Robin, or become Red Hood, he winds up turning himself into prison voluntarily to serve his sentence for crimes, and then takes the identity of Jailbird, serving his own brand of justice inside the prison system of Gotham. So there are a ton of alternate scenes and alternate paths you can take. Then moving on to the live-action version of Red Hood that they just announced for Titans Season 3. They revealed what his costume is going to look like. It looks a lot like the one from the Arkham games, sort of a mashup of that and the comic book versions. The way they explained Jason Todd during Titans Season 2 is they kept taking him to the brink of death. He was being sort of a daredevil, playing it fast and loose. He almost died a couple times. But then because they were doing the Teen Titans Judas Contract storyline, he was sort of a core part of that. Rose Wilson wound up being the Terra of that situation, the person inside the group that was meant to infiltrate and then take them down. He was the one that advocated for bringing her in and trusted her, so when he found out what she was really doing with her father, Deathstroke, he felt betrayed, he took off, he kind of went crazy. Then the last thing you see of him during Season 2 is in the finale when they're burying Donna Troy and passing her body back to the Amazons. He's sitting on his motorcycle in the distance and they sort of have this moment where they look at each other, and it's just to let you know that he's going off on his own way for a long time. He's not going to be coming around anytime soon. So he takes off on his motorcycle, and you're just left to wonder how he gets from there to Red Hood during Season 3. How are they going to explain it if he doesn't wind up dying, because that's a core part of him becoming Red Hood in the comics, getting resurrected in the Lazarus Pit, but coming back crazy? So right now I think it's pretty likely that the Titans version of Jason Todd doesn't wind up dying, but just instead gets a little brainwashed and still goes hardcore, taking the Red Hood mantle, still killing criminals left and right, dropping bodies. They're also bringing Barbara Gordon onto the show, but get it, it's older Barbara Gordon who used to be Batgirl, but is now Commissioner in Gotham. So that's more like the Batman Beyond version of Barbara Gordon. The only big Batman villain that they've announced so far is Scarecrow. He's going to be one of the main villains, and he's going to be a profiler helping them from inside Arkham Asylum. So I'm assuming he might have something to do with Jason Todd turning into Red Hood. But everyone, post all your predictions for Red Hood during Titans Season 3 in live action. This is as close as we've gotten to Red Hood in the movies. And if you guys didn't see, talking about more Red Hood Easter eggs, there's the dead Robin in the Batman v Superman Justice League storyline with Ben Affleck's Batman. That's actually supposed to be the Dick Grayson version, at least in the Zack Snyder canon, but they're bringing back Jared Leto's Joker for new scenes in the Justice League Snyder cut. Some people think that it's going to be flashbacks to him killing Robin. But what'll happen is I have some new Mandalorian Season 2 bonus videos to post, so I'll try to get those up as fast as possible. Leave all your DC video requests in the comments below. Congratulations RSR, you're the giveaway winner from my last big DC video. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your contact details. Everyone click here for the new Star Wars Mandalorian Season 2 Episode 1 video, and click here to learn what's going on with the new Superman solo movie in Man of Steel 2. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe. I'll see you guys tonight.